Oh, there we are. Good morning, everyone. We have got a special presentation for you this morning, a very important one because some books are coming up for FOC for these two gentlemen. We have got Marvin Wynn, who you all know because he's been here before, Grant Lankard, and we're talking Comicsburg, and we're talking Beowulf and the Edge, and we're going to find out more about that and what you can all do to help support these. Good morning, you guys. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. It's a great morning here. It's sunny in Sacramento today, which is abnormal these last couple of weeks, so it's pretty nice.
It's rainy in Pittsburgh.
Okay. It has been here too, but hopefully we'll get some more because we definitely need it. But we're not here to talk about the rain and our need here in Sacramento. Let's talk about you two and Comicsburg. Tell us a little bit about that and what you guys are putting together.
Sure. You want to go first, Grant, or you want me to go first?
Yeah, so Beowulf is a comic book that I have been doing for the last 2 years. I've mostly been fulfilling it through Kickstarter, although we do have a few stores that you can buy our comic books in. But we're moving up a step here in March. We're going to have issue 1 in comic book stores all around the country. We got a distribution deal with Diamond. They're actually in the current catalog. If anybody watching owns a comic book store, you can just go to page 311 and get a brief description of Beowulf and the Edge there.
Nice, you even got the page down. That makes it so much easier. So you said you've been doing this for a while. And how long have you been working on Beowulf?
Well, it was an idea that I had when I was in high school. So, I mean, it's been in the back of my mind for like 20 years, but I didn't start working on it like really on a regular basis up until like the last month or two, or I'm sorry, the last year or two.
Once you were stuck at home like the rest of us, you can
exactly
start some comic ideas. Now,
yeah, that was the beautiful thing about the pandemic, right? It gave you time to re-examine your life and say, you know what? If I don't do this now, I'm probably never going to do it.
Yes, and you were given the time too. So this is great here. So who do we have on the cover?
So this is Beowulf. In the back is Beowulf. Next to him is Hazel, and at the bottom is Mooney. Mooney is a 8th century wizard reincarnated in modern times as a cat. So he has magic powers, and he's the one who kind of gets the ball rolling because he has a vision of a dragon waking, and Hazel is his owner. So Mooney's idea is, why don't we go track down the famous dragon slayer Beowulf, and we'll get him to go up against this dragon. The only problem is Beowulf, we'll just say the reincarnation of him has a lot to be desired.
Yeah, the first intro we get is him getting fired.
Right.
Because he can't even maintain a regular schedule, let alone become a great hero. So that's awesome. We've got issue 1 in the catalog. How many issues are we going to be getting of this?
So it's a 6-issue storyline. Once I've completed issue 6, I'm sure I'll do more stuff. The ending is left open enough that we can tell other stories, and I haven't exactly decided what I'm going to do after issue 6, but right now I'm just focusing on the first 6 issues.
That's fair. Now, is the first 6 issues give it kind of a wrap with an open ending?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's perfect because everyone who goes into this knows they're going to get a full story, and then you can come back to it when you want. You can move on to other projects, whatever kind of hits you.
Exactly.
Which is nice. And of course, you guys can see the links down below. So you can check out the website, which we unfortunately discovered before we got on is down at the moment. They're going to get it fixed and back up. So just add it to your favorites and come back to it. And of course, follow them on social media so that you can find out more about their projects. So Marvin, what about you, buddy? What do you got going on for us? Because you got it as part of the same Comicsburg, and we are back talking about some more Edge.
Right. So just to give a brief background, Comicsburg came about while we were doing conventions together with the rest of our crew, which would include Herrenberg and a person we adopted who used to be live in Cleveland. Now he lives in Pennsylvania. DP Brown. He's a Browns fan, and we forgive him for that. But you know how things go. You have to forgive sometimes on those things. But
Yeah.
Comicsburg is a new studio / publisher where, I mean, we figured that, like you said, during the pandemic, we had ideas, and we figured that instead of pitching to a lot of all these outside entities, we could just do it ourselves and just bring everything in house, handle everything that we do, and that way that it stays in house and we're in control of our own destinies, pretty much. But we are back with issue number 1 of The Edge, which you probably already have in the store. So if people are looking for it, I mean, you already have copies, but it never hurts to pick up some other stuff and pick up a new copy of The Edge. It's a brand new cover, and there's a lot of new things that are going to be coming down the pipe for this. So first issue will be out in March, and we're going to do a quarterly schedule. We've already up to around issue 15 or so of the book, so there's not going to be any chance of any story gaps or anything like that, or anything stopping. We're going to be doing some one-shots in between the story arcs that are going to tell, expanding on the stories that are spinning out of the book itself, because I found that when I was writing some of the stuff, I had story left over that I couldn't fit into the regular issue. And I was like, instead of throwing it out, put it into a one shot, because it's kind of a bridge between each story arc.
I mean, that's kind of nice. And, it's always fun when the story kind of takes on a life of its own.
Yes.
You didn't anticipate that, but you're like, but wait a minute, I have more things to tell. These characters have more things that they want to say. And 15 issues, that's crazy. That's great. That's it really is, because that's a lot of issues.
That's into the middle, or almost near the end of the third story arc. So
okay, so you plan on having this one go on for quite some time?
Oh, I mean, it'll go as long as people are enjoying it, or as much stories we have. Like, we have a lot of story to tell. Like, we're continuously coming up with new things and like that. So we're plotted out for a while to go. It's just that not everything is written down in stone yet.
Now, with Comicsburg, you two are the only ones on page 311 right now, correct?
Yes.
Do you have any other creatives that are part of your core that are going to be coming out with books, or is it going to be focused on you two at the moment?
Well, it'll be focused on us for the moment, but we've been talking with some of the other people in the crew, and they are interested in coming into Diamond's previews. They just have to figure out how things are going to work for them, because we're in a position where not everything will work for everyone, and if it fits, it works. If it doesn't, then there are other avenues, that we also go direct to stores. So if people are looking to things more directly, we'll have available up on the website where you can do sign up as a retailer on the site, and we'll send out merchandise and things like that, and as well as previews and things like that. But you can order from us direct also if you don't want to use a distributor.
Yeah. Now, and of course you guys can get it directly from them, but I highly recommend that what you do is you talk to your local retailer. You tell them page 311, the January previews. Tell them that you want them to order it, because although it's great that you get the book in your hands, whether it's on their website or you see them at a convention, but if you get it directly through your retailer, the numbers go up in Diamond, which makes their lives a little easier. So although get it any way you can, I highly suggest you try your retailer first. Just tell them to do a special order for you. Add it to your saver. If you're not a saver, just have them pull it for you. Give them your number and go from there. Because you guys you said you did decide not to do pitches, and a lot of people don't quite understand what that means, because you talked about having the freedom, but what you didn't talk about was the hassle.
Yeah.
With another publisher, they do a lot of the work for you.
Yes.
These two are now doing everything, whether it's the production, the editing, the marketing, the websites. Everything is on your head at this moment.
Yeah, and that's and contacting retailers like you to let you know that this book exists, and to say that, hey, can you order 5 copies of The Edge instead of those other 5 copies of Batman that you were going to get? So and that's the challenge that comes with it being a not only a new publisher but new to the catalog, that no one knows who we are. So we're hitting ground zero of trying to communicate to people, not just the people going to the stores, people that own the stores, to make sure that, hey, grab a couple copies and see how it does. I mean, we're willing to do store signings and come out wherever it is that we have to get to try to work with people on these things.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, communication is great. Getting the word out, like you said, whether it's to the people who are watching here or the retailers, because like you said, forego a couple Batman if it's a cost issue. Just try an indie book, see what your customers like, and you'll give them the chance to do it. Yeah. So no, that's great. Now with Comicsburg, you two are focused obviously with these 2 books. Mm-hmm. But do you think you might expand with other books of your own, or is that just kind of a little too much at the moment?
As for me, I think that The Edge it's something that I want to kind of make in the forefront. But I mean, we've got plans for other stuff that either surround it or outside of it. But it's always funny that when I start writing something outside of The Edge, it ends up in part of The Edge for some reason. Like we were actually working on like a title that was more medieval, and it actually flowed right into The Edge. So we were like, okay, it's part of The Edge now. It's just before the current Edge time that these things were happening.
Okay, and I mean, yeah, with a big universe like that, there's so much that you can do. There's really no limit.
Right. But Grant does have another title that will be in previews also.
Yeah, so I also do a horror anthology. It's called Memoirs of the Morbid. That's going to be in Diamond, or that's going to be in stores in October. So that should be in catalogs, in like July? Or did I do my math right?
August.
Roughly there. So this are those all written by you?
No, the anthology, one of the stories, and then the wraparound story was written and drawn by me, and then the other 4 stories are by other writers and artists.
Oh, so that's a lot of books or a lot of stories in one book.
Yeah, it's like a 70-page book, so it's going to be a little bit pricier than Beowulf, but I mean, you're getting a lot more for your money too.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of anthologies because I love the idea that I'm going in and getting a little bit of everything. You might like some, you might not like others, but it's kind of like opening a present. It's really fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that's what people like. I mean, from talking to other people, I think what people are frustrated with Marvel and DC is that it feels like the stories never end. And the great thing about this anthology is, each story is like 10 or 12 pages, and each one has a beginning, middle, and end.
That's fantastic. That is really neat, actually. So perfect. And is that just a one shot?
It's a volume 1. I'm going to have another volume out this October.
Oh, that cover is really freaky.
Yeah.
With the squirrel.
Yeah.
I assume that is one of the stories inside.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That is really cool, actually. Well, you guys sound like you have a lot coming out here. Are you doing any signings or conventions that people should know about coming up?
We're doing Happy Valley in February. We're signed up for KazakCon, which I think is April. Is that correct, Marvin?
Yes.
KazakCon is in Beckley, West Virginia. And then we're doing HersheyCon in June. And of course, our favorite convention, which is Three Rivers Con in June.
What makes Three Rivers Con so great?
Well, first of all, we love the fact that we don't have to drive very far for it.
That is a plus. That is a huge plus.
But it's a real convention, I mean, there are no celebrities there. The people who are coming in there are there to look at comic books. They're not there to meet the 5th guy who played Jason Voorhees like 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Those conventions are becoming very far and few between these days. So it's nice that you have one, because when you're behind the table and everyone is there to actually look at comic books and small press, that's a fantastic vibe.
Right.
Yeah. So good. I'm glad you guys actually have one there, because like I said, far and few between. Well, good. I'm glad you guys have so much going on. Where should they follow you predominantly, Grant, to find out more about your projects?
So everything, my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, it's all at GW Lankard.
Easy.
So if you want to go to like my Instagram page, you just play instagram.com/GW Lankard.
Okay, is Instagram the best place?
Instagram, I don't go on Twitter very often, but I do go on Facebook.
Okay, that's easy enough. And what about you, Marvin?
You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Edge Comic. Even though my name on Twitter is at Marvin Wynn, I have at The Edge Comic in my title, so it'll still come up.
Okay.
I am trying to start up a TikTok because why not? Might as well.
Might as well. That'll be interesting to see what you come up with.
Well, we do theme songs for all the characters. Like I started putting them up on YouTube and TikTok, so those are pretty interesting. We've been getting a lot of hits on those, so that should be fun. So we're on YouTube. Edge is on YouTube. I've got a lot of videos, like videos for the Kickstarter and other videos, and then like I said, each character is going to have their own theme song, and then there's a all over theme song. Even Revenant has his own theme.
Where do you get the theme songs?
There is a musician here in Pittsburgh. His name is Ross. He does soundtracks. So I met him at an outdoor show actually, and we talked. And I said, "Do you want to do some themes?" And he was into it, and we've been working together since this past summer.
That's unique. That is really cool. I dig that quite a bit actually. Now, everyone, don't forget to talk to your retailer and let them know you want it, and don't wait. Like, do it today, because FOCs, and what that means for everyone who doesn't know, it's a final order cutoff. Those are days that retailers have to order a book by to be guaranteed copies. So the FOC for this is coming up on the
January 18th is what's listed on Diamond's site.
So the 18th, that means you have to do this now to help them get some numbers up and get their books into stores, and so that you can try it and see what they have to offer. So thank you very much for joining us this morning, you guys. It was great. Great to meet you, Grant. Hopefully we'll see more of you in the future on these things. And Marvin, it's always a pleasure to have you on, buddy.
Thank you.
You guys keep up the good work. Please let us know as things are progressing so that we can help keep spreading the word.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
Again, I'm going to say it. I've said it like 5 times already. Go talk to your retailer today, and I'll be in the shop from 12 to 7 so you can tell me you want your copies. All right, everyone. You guys have a great one, and you two keep creating.
Thank you.